Hello and welcome back to another Sports Rant. Go hit the subscribe button right now if you like the content. I finally figured out this whole YouTube thing. Go follow it on Spotify. Go follow the Instagram. I make content on all sports, NBA, NFL, college basketball, women's college basketball, track and field, all of it right here. Go find the YouTube is going to be at another Sports Rant. I finally figured this stuff out. Go watch it. It's great. Anyway, so first and foremost, I would like to start off the show. There was a lot of NFL news that happened this week. Trying to keep this more professional, I'd say. Keep it have a good discourse. I'm trying to be more consistent. I know it's been a couple days now. I've been figuring out the YouTube thing, got the lighting right, trying to get all this stuff working perfectly. Just so we can have a cool product to go on. But a lot of news. Both Lions coordinators, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, are now head coaches in the NFL. Ben Johnson was hired by the Bears this week. I am sure Caleb Williams is excited by that because he is an offensive guru, an offensive genius. He's been talking. He's like, oh, we want to make changes here. I love the city of Chicago. It's going to be great. And Aaron Glenn was hired by the New York Jets. This is pretty incredible for both of these guys. Congratulations. That's a job of a lifetime. That is an awesome job. Somebody who has an interest in coaching. That is an awesome job. To be a head coach at the highest level. It's just props to them. There's only 32 people that have those jobs, and not many people keep them. We'll see how it goes on for them. We'll see what I hope to do great, but as a Patriots fan, I hope the Jets don't do great. But anyway, it seems like these two hires, these guys are slam dunks because with Aaron Glenn really solidified himself. I want to talk about Aaron Glenn first. Really solidified himself with that week, that final week against the Vikings, the Week 18 game, where he had nobody on defense. I think it was 16. Lions had 16 players on IR, and almost all of them were Lions defenders. It was literally just the Lions defense. It was the IR list. And he went in there with Jimmy's and Joe's, guys like Max Gallegos, and went in there and wiped the floor with the best wide receiver in the league, an up-and-coming, an MVP. Up to that point, Sam Darnold is considered an MVP candidate. With Kevin O'Connell, who's an offensive guru, an offensive genius, a quarterback whisperer, and he went in there and embarrassed them. He did a fabulous job. That was a masterclass, and it's always good. It's like, oh yeah, it's like it's interesting with good coaches. You see that a lot. Is like how good is he with good players, and then how good is he at building a team and making bad players good, or making mediocre players good, or getting the best out of guys? That's something that I always find interesting with a good head coach, is they get the best from their players. Their players may not be the best, but you get the best. You see that with Andy Reid. You see that with Steve Spagnuolo. You see that with Bill Belichick. You see that with all these guys. They don't necessarily have the best players. The Chiefs don't have the best players. They have 15 wins, though. And they're in the conference championship. They are good at getting the best from their guys. Like they don't have to have the best players, and I think that's a key of coaching. It's like, yeah, you don't need the best players. I just need the best out of you. I had a band teacher who was like that. She would make you find things you wouldn't find in yourself normally or naturally. It's like it's a fantastic skill, and it's something that you do not find easy. It's not easy. That is that is a hard skill to get the best out of somebody is hard. But Ben Johnson got hired by the Bears. Congratulations to him. That's probably going to be. That's going to be. We'll see. The I saw an Instagram meme that said, "The Bears, champions of the 2024-2025 offseason, back-to-back offseason champions." It's like, yes, they got blah blah blah. They fleeced the Panthers. They did this. They got Caleb Williams. Last year we were talking over the moon and to the stars about how good the Bears were going to be. And we forgot one thing. We forgot their head coach sucks. Right? He was awful. There was a reason he didn't have a job. And now he got fired halfway through the year, and they went 4-2 and then lost every single game up until that last Packers game. They went 5-12. That's terrible. People were putting they're going to win the North, they're going to do this, blah blah blah, they're going to be so great, and then everything kind of came crashing fucking down, because in all reality, they were it's like sometimes it is coaching. When it comes to rookie quarterbacks, good coaching helps a lot. Look at Jaden Daniels. He's got Cliff Kingsbury. Look at Bo Nix. He had Sean Payton. Look at Mac Jones, his rookie season. Mac Jones was fucking ass. But when he had Josh McDaniels, the only reason he didn't win Rookie of the Year was because Jamar Chase was in that draft class. He outplayed every other quarterback in that draft class, and was like, everybody's like, the Patriots are still like Brady is blah blah blah, right? He got waxed in the playoffs, got absolutely cooked by Josh Allen and the Bills, but good coaching, you get the right guy in there, and I think the Bears, this is a really good addition by the Bears, and Ben Johnson knows this division and knows those defenses, and he knows the Lions. He knows the Lions personnel. He played those guys in practice every day, so he knows the personnel like the back of his hand. And I know it's going to be different for sure, because they're going to have a new defensive coordinator. They're going to have a new defensive line coach. I just saw the Patriots hired their defensive line coach as the Patriots defensive coordinator. So it's going to be different. There's going to be so many changes, but I think Ben Johnson really works here, because with the pieces they have, with their draft pick, I'm not sure. I think they're in the teens. I think they're probably going to go offensive line, because that was like it's like a revolving door. It was just like just like I love the memes where it was like just like it's like the shitty security guard just like not really patting him down, just putting his hands next to the sides. It's like just let him in, just standing there hands up, like not doing anything. It's like you're there but you don't do anything, right? And that was kind of true with a lot of these offensive lines, and it happens to rookies. I think we will see a different version of Caleb for sure. And of course, like we hope for the best for him, but anyway, that means. But what does this mean for the Lions? That's the big question now. What does this mean for the Lions going forward? Dan Campbell is not really a scheme guy. He is really more of like a rah-rah, like Jim Harbaugh, like John Harbaugh, like all of these. Like there's Mike Tomlin is another big rah-rah guy. I love to call him that. It's they don't really have like the scheme like they're not really like the X's and O's gurus like Belichick and all these other. They have these. They're like, we hype up the guys. We call time. It's situations. It's fiery speeches. It's getting the guys ready, making them tough, bringing a culture. That's kind of what Dan Campbell brings, and he lost two really, really good coordinators. Who he hires next will determine what happens with the Lions going forward. They have a stacked roster. Their defense caught the injury bug. Like they got fucked over. But their offense it's like a candy store. They will have the best off. They could hire whatever guru offensive coordinator. Somebody is going to want to work there, especially on that offensive side, because it's Candyland. They have so much to work with. They have so many things. It's going to work great, but it's another thing. We'll see. It could like I said, it could favor them, right? They're playing. It's just their division has gotten better, but I think they're going to be fine. I think this last game was really disappointing for them, for sure. I think they had their sights set on the Super Bowl. That was the goal for this season, Super Bowl. We almost got there last year. We kind of fucked it up last year. So we're just going to go back. We're going to kick some ass. We're going to bite a kneecap on the way up. And it just didn't happen. And it's okay. Because you know what? We're going to have some great fucking television this week when we have with the conference championship. But before I talk about the conference championship, I want to talk about the Bucs offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen. This guy had Baker Mayfield throwing more touchdown passes than any other quarterback in the league, making him look like a fucking star. He's getting a lot of head coaching job offers because he's a really good offensive coordinator, and he looks great. Liam Cohen made Baker Mayfield look like an MVP, like a fucking stud. He got offered by the Jaguars, who, let's not joke around here. The Jaguars are awful, and always have been. They've drafted great. I remember back it was 2018. Yeah, 2018 when they had Blake Bortles, they had Jalen Ramsey, they had Leonard Fournette. Blake Bortles and Blake Bortles, they cut him loose. Never made it back to the AFC Championship. Never made it back to they've made it back to the playoffs, but they are a joke as a franchise. Blake Bortles they let go. Leonard Fournette they let go. Jalen Ramsey they let go. Right? They became like a farm. They're like a farm team for good teams. Just go get their good players, because they're so poorly run. And Liam Cohen was like, you know what? No, I want to go back. I want to coach. I just want to be the offensive coordinator for Tampa, because I don't want to get fucked over here. Because you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of jobs. There's only 32 jobs in the NFL. I think the Jaguars might be the worst job to have. That might be number 32. Trevor Lawrence, underwhelming as fuck. They have some good pieces. They have that kid from LSU, the wide receiver. He's great. But in the front office, upstairs, ownership, they suck. They are a tire fire. They are worse than a lot. They are worse than even the Raiders. Than some of these teams that have been dumpster fire. There's like the Browns, the Jets, the Raiders. There is like the bottom of the barrel. They are there. They are awful. They are poorly run, poorly owned. They should probably, like, that's something that a lot of these bad teams really need to do, is just sell. We saw it with the Commanders. They sold. They sold their, like, they got rid of the bad ownership. They're going to get rid of the shitty stadium. Look at that. Look at them now. They fired the head coach. They cleaned fucking house. Everything out. Gone. Done. Totally new. Just ripped off the entire Band-Aid. Because it was a gunshot wound and they were trying to fix it with Band-Aids. They ripped off the shitty Band-Aid. And look at them. And then they were able to, oh, you know what, this is bad. We need to fix it with some real God. We need to fix it. We need to fix this. This is terrible. And they got a new head coach. They got a new offensive coordinator. They got a new staff. New quarterback. New owner. Conference championship game. They're a game away from the Super Bowl. I saw a Bleacher Report that post on Instagram that said that had the NFL playoff teams beginning of the season predictions. I think the Commanders were in like the low 20s, like 25, 22, something like that. Low as fuck. And look at them now. Like, Jaden Daniels is insane. I know I've kind of talked a lot about, like, glazing Jaden Daniels. He's really fucking good. Like, really good. And that brings me to what I want to talk about next, is this conference championship weekend. This is going to be awesome. We have the lines for them right now. We have Washington +6, and Kansas City -1.5. And oh boy, that's just the line for today. I'm not really a gambling man, but I would probably stay away from Washington Philly, just because that's just such a wild card. Like, Washington, yeah, like, you could be like, yeah, just take the points, take the over-under, right? And just stay away. Because you don't know if, like Saquon's going to bust out, like, a 62-yard run for, like, 2 touch, and, like, bust out a 62-yard run for a touchdown and have, like, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Jaden Daniels also just carves up the Eagles' defense. Which, I mean, the Eagles are probably a better pick. If you're just looking at it like a logical person, the Eagles are a better pick. But, the Commanders are just, like, it's hard to, like, it's like, oh, they're gonna lose to the Lions. Didn't lose to the Lions. Oh, they're gonna lose to the Bucks. They're gonna lose to the Bucks. They didn't lose. Like, it's like, yeah, like, it's great. Their rookie season was amazing. Jaden Daniels is so good. And it's like, oh, Jaden Daniels might be the best rookie quarterback ever. Oh, he's a game away from the Super Bowl. This is this weekend. This weekend is deciding the Super Bowl, and then we have Buffalo at Kansas City. And this, if I'm a gambling person, I would not want to gamble on this game at all, on either of these games, because they are so. The margins are thin. I think Buffalo and KC is also a stay away. And that's just because I'm just not a gambling dude, and I'm just like, oh, like, clutching my, like, I don't have enough money to gamble. I'm making this on a fucking Chromebook, so that Buffalo KC is like, oof, hell no. But I'd probably take Kansas City. In that point, because it's hard to beat a good team twice. But these, like, I think we have some funny fucking Super Bowl matchups too. If we have Washington Bills, if we have the Commanders and the Bills, that is what the people. It's like it's every post on Instagram is the people would want a Bills Commanders Super Bowl. It would just feel like this is what we wanted. This is like we won. This was the people's choice. That is the people's choice when it comes to the Super Bowl. If you could just decide the score, that's it. I think if we have a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl, this is what's going to happen. It is going to be the friendliest fan base in the Buffalo Bills against the meanest fan base in the Philadelphia Eagles. You see that video cycles around when they were playing, when the Eagles were playing the Rams. He's like, he didn't that Eagles fan being like an absolute, he just being just berating that Rams fan. Like, yeah, he didn't get in, being just an ass. And then there's the Bills fans after Mark Andrews dropped the literally dropped the game tying 2-point conversion. They're over there oh, we're done. They're fans and they're passionate, but they're donating to his charity, to his charity. Some of the nicest people. It's it makes me hard as a Patriots fan to hate them. It's the Bills. They're I think they bug me sometimes, but you know what? For the most part, they're not they seem yeah, they root for it, but they're nice people. They seem like nice people. It's not I'm gonna be oh my gosh, these it's unbearable. And I am not a big Philly fan of any stretch, and I think that would be so funny. And then there is the cinematic choice, the villain, David versus Goliath, is Chiefs Commanders. Could you imagine the Instagram reels to the TikToks? I know it's banned. I can't download it back on my phone because I was an idiot and deleted it. But could you imagine the edits we'll scroll through if we have a Commanders Chiefs Super Bowl? Jaden Daniels. The strength of America is behind you right now. You must stop, Patrick. That would be that Super Bowl might do the best numbers. That might be the most, and the Super Bowl always does good. It always will. But that one would be historic because it would be David versus Goliath, the rookie versus the dynasty, and it would just and it would be the only man who stands in the way of the Chiefs three-peat is Jaden Daniels, and it would get so many asses in seats, just because of the stakes. It'd be awesome. And then we have the Devil's Choice, Chiefs Eagles. We always see those graphics of who's rooting for so and so. I remember it's the map of America, and it's all Bills or all Commanders, and then it's Philly and Kansas City, and that's it. And it's who's America rooting for? And it's yeah, it's kind of like that. It's if it was the Eagles Chiefs, I think everybody would be furious, because it's dude, come on, I get everybody outside of Chiefs, because it would be another repeat Super Bowl. It's because we had that one a couple of years ago in I think it was 2022. The 2022-23 Super Bowl was Chiefs Eagles, and it was it was a fun game. It was down to the wire. They're always it's always entertaining, but it's we want some parity. We want somebody different, new faces in places. Everybody's kind of we'll look back and be the Chiefs dynasty was cool. It's great. A three-peat would be insane, and everybody's talking about a three-peat the Chiefs already have it, which is I'm wait, hold up, they're poised to do it, but they haven't done it yet. It's not happened. It's one of those things that it's I don't know, I wasn't alive I was alive, but I was still shitting myself to before when the Patriots were going on their 17-0 run. And they were just assumed to win the Super Bowl. Right? They literally won every single fucking game with Randy Moss. They didn't lose. And it was I feel like if you look back, maybe I'm wrong, but the media probably is just like, yeah, the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. It's just kind of penciled in. They didn't. I think that's kind of what they're doing now. They're kind of like penciling in the three-peat. It's insane what he's done. He's going to three-peat. When he three-peats, then we'll talk about it, right? Then it's like, then we'll talk about it. I'm saying this with like, Patrick Mahomes is great. The Chiefs are really, really good. But they have you can't really talk about something until it happens, and the three-peat talks. When it happens, I will be impressed. It's never happened before. They are poised to do it. They might do it. They could lose this week. The Bills are good. The Bills beat them. The Bills are the only team that when Patrick Mahomes was starting, start to finish, kicked their ass. It really. I don't know. Like it's like I saw like Stephen A. talking about it. It kind of irked me a little bit. I'm kind of going off on a little tangent here, but Stephen, he was like talking about how, well, like if he does this, it'll be so story. He might be better than Brady. I'm like, wait, hold up, hold the phone, Stephen A. You talk so much about how Michael Jordan is so superior to LeBron James. And because of the era, the toughness. Tom Brady was has played in both eras. He played in the era of knock your fucking block off. He played in this like transitional concussions, protect the quarterback, which is fine. Like that's the way the game is played now, right? Protections, protect the quarterback. There's a lot more different things. He played in both eras. He won Super Bowls in both eras. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes being superior to him. It's because he wins a three-peat. Like, okay, like three, like a three-peat's insane. It's an insane achievement. Tom Brady also won 17 games in a row. He went undefeated in the regular season. But it doesn't get like talked about as much because he lost. And if the Chiefs lose if they lose this week, what happens then? Or if they win Sunday, and then they go into the Super Bowl against the Commanders or the Eagles and lose, what happens? Oh, three-peat. That was short-lived. Nobody will talk about it because you know what? They were almost. Because we love to talk about almosts, and we love to before it happens, we love to talk about almost. Oh, they're about to do this, blah blah blah, and if it doesn't happen, we forget so fast. But if it happens, it's like, oh my gosh, I predicted it. It was insane. Or it's like this is gonna happen. This is insane. It happened, right? Or it doesn't. Or you win 17 games in a row. You win 19 games in a row. The Patriots won 19 games in a row in 2007. They lost one, and it was the one that fucking counted. They've won Super Bowls. Game of inches. It's a game of inches. That's really, I really want, that is the game. It's, I've said this before. Tom Brady is, he is a couple plays away from only having 2 Super Bowls. 5 of his 7 were decided by 1 play. That is bonkers. And personally, like that is insane. Nobody does that. Anyway, that's enough conference champion talk. I will try and get out I'm going to try and get out a reaction video to that one. Maybe try and get out squeak in one more tomorrow night about just like a prediction. Give you guys a quick prediction. Actually, a well analyzed prediction, because this is kind of like I want Bills Commanders, like everybody else, like everybody who's not a Chiefs or Eagles fan. But I want to go into detail. I want to give a nice analyzed pick. We're going to try and get that out tomorrow night. But anyway, the Raiders and the Cowboys, I want to talk about this really quick. It's more like front office moves. There are more front office moves. The Raiders hired John Spytek he was the assistant GM for the Buccaneers. He played football in Michigan with Tom Brady. Tom Brady knows him. Tom Brady is pretty much running the Raiders now, and broadcasting, and doing all this stuff. So it's cool. I think there's rumors around the Raiders that Pete Carroll is interested. I think that actually would be a great hire if you look at it. But I think it's just a step in the right direction. I think getting some cleaning house coach, head coach, GM, quarterback, owner, and Mark Davis is taking a step back, letting Tom Brady make decisions, which is great. Who wouldn't want Tom Brady making football decisions for you? He is incredibly well respected, and he probably can analyze talent better than anybody else, because he is the greatest quarterback of all time, and he is probably one of the best football players of all time. And he knows people, and if it's something he's like, yeah, maybe I don't know everything about it, he knows who to talk to. He is the most he can. If you're in a football sense, Tom Brady. If Tom Brady calls you, you interrupt family dinner. You drop what you're doing and you listen. Because it's like if Tom Brady's like, hey, I want to talk to you. We're interested in hiring you as a GM, as a head coach, blah blah blah. Ben Johnson almost went to the Raiders because of that. Just because Tom Brady is involved. But I think that's really the big picture here. Mark Davis taking a step back, they hired a new GM. They just need to hire a new head coach. If it's Pete Carroll, if it's somebody, I think they need a culture. I think they need to build something around this, because they have a good core. Like the Raiders, they don't have a quarterback, but they have a core. They have Max Crosby is a really good player. Probably a better player than most underrated player, because he leads the league in TFL, tackles for loss. And tackles for loss are, shocker, probably a better stat than sacks. And in my opinion, yes, they are better stats than sacks. Because, you know what? Sacks are kind of overblown. And, if you think about it this way. If you we're just going to, talk about TFL really fast. If you're tackling a running back or a wide receiver in the backfield is harder than tackling a quarterback. It's just think about it. A quarterback is especially some quarterbacks are not as mobile as others. Some of them are really mobile. Some of them are really big, good athletes, but they're trying to deliver the ball. Their first option is pass. In their head, when they're going, they're going through their progressions, they're trying to pass the football, which makes them a little bit of an easier target. When you're trying to tackle a running back in the backfield, or do you think it would be harder to tackle Patrick Mahomes or Saquon Barkley? I think it would be harder to tackle Saquon Barkley, just because he's more athletic. Skill guys are way more athletic. Like, there's athletic quarterbacks, but skill guys are way more athletic. They are the peak of athletic. They are the fastest, the strongest. And so he's a really underrated guy. There's the Raiders. What I'm getting back to that point is the Raiders have a really good core. Like, they have, when it comes to players, they have good. Brock Bowers, great. Could you imagine Brock Bowers with a competent quarterback? Could you imagine Brock Bowers with shit? With Kyler Murray, with a middle of the road guy. Could you imagine Brock Bowers and the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield? They carve. Because he's such a good he broke every rookie record. The only reason he's not the rookie of the year is because Jaden Daniels is having an insane season. And he set out all these numbers with Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and Desmond Ridder as his quarterbacks. And for the first couple of games of the season, Davante Adams was also on that roster. Jacoby Myers had a very productive season. They had drafted a pretty good they drafted some good O-line picks. The Raiders aren't actually as terrible a job as I think a lot of people are putting it out as their ass. You get access to Tom Brady. I know Mark Davis is taking a step back in the football sense. And I think they are kind of on the rise here, and that's not just because my brother listens to this. Trust me. In Cowboys news, in the America's team, Brian Stottenheimer is rumored to be interviewed as the next Cowboys head coach. They recently parted ways with Mark McCarthy after his contract expired, and he realized, this is a fucking shit show. I don't want to be here anymore. Jerry Jones is a weird dude, and he's losing his grip, and he's old. I would rather not. The Cowboys need a shooting star to fix this mess. The star is falling. It's falling out of the sky. It's supernovaing. It's swallowing everything in their path, and it is bad. They paid Dak way too late. They overpaid him. He's paid like he's Patrick Mahomes, and he is not. He is at best Baker Mayfield, and he gets in. He's gotten injured, and CeeDee Lamb is the only weapon they have left. They let Tony Pollard walk. They have no structure. There's Micah Parsons will probably have to be traded because this is a crapshoot. Jerry is just goes on talk radio and talks shit. They don't have a GM. He's trying to be the GM. I think it's what comes with Jerry Jones. I think what the issue is he played I think he played D1 football at Arkansas. So I feel like he thinks he knows more than he does, and I don't think he knows that much. There's some things where it's like, Jerry, what the fuck? Like when there was during free agency, he was talking about this. We were really looking at this guy in the draft process. They traded for that guy from the Panthers. It's like, really? The fact is I can't even remember his name. It's how little impact that had. And it's like, whew. What are you doing? Jerry Jones, get a grip. We've seen that a lot. It's like, yes. It's like sometimes, like, he makes a lot of money. He's won before. I saw his bust in the Hall of Fame. But you know what, man? Like, sometimes you get it wrong. And you just need to take a step back. And I know it's hard for somebody who's been so successful and, like, kind of knows what they're doing. Like, kind of knows what he's like. He played D1 football. To be like, you know what, it's hard to say you were wrong. And I think that's really what happened with Jerry. It's just like, it's hard for him to say, yeah, I was wrong. I paid back too much. We're probably gonna have to eat that money if he gets injured, or we have to trade him because we have no cap space, or we have to trade Micah Parsons, right? Who was a guy we really liked, and he was a great player. We'd probably get a lot of picks for him, but in all reality, it's like that. Like, it's hard to say I was wrong. It's really hard to say you were wrong in a lot of, like, even in life, even just for small things. It's like, damn. And it's really hard for a billionaire to be humble. And to be like, you know what, that wasn't right. Take a step back on it. Let me just rethink this really fast. Because they've been so successful. Because they've had so much success. It's like, oh, everything I say is gospel truth. And you guys don't know shit because I'm just like, I assume that's what's going through him right now. I'm not a psychiatrist. It's just my theory, an assumption. I'm not trying to say exactly what he's thinking, but that's what he's projecting for sure. That's the vibe he gives off. To say in that sense, he gives off this vibe of, I'm Jerry Jones, and I am the Cowboys. The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys who haven't been to a conference championship game in 30 years? How about those Cowboys who were overpaying Dak Prescott, who isn't a bad quarterback, but not a $100 million quarterback? How about them Cowboys who don't have a run game? How about them? How about them Cowboys who are picking not at the top of the draft, but not at the bottom? Like, they're not in the playoffs. That we're talking about hiring a new head coach in January instead of playoffs. How about them Cowboys? Those Cowboys don't seem so great. The star is falling. America's team is struggling right now. I think it's the biggest sports franchise in America, struggling badly. It's been shown as like, it's toxic. It kind of seems like Mike McCarthy was like, I want out. He didn't get fired. He was like, yeah, I'm good. Pay me a lot of money and I'll stay. And they were like, no, or like shortballing him, like, just nah. And he was like, peace. I'll go find another job. I'll go work for the Saints. Because dang, it's gonna be a rough road for the Cowboys. And it's been a rough road. It's like if they win 12 games, lose in the playoffs. Win 12 games, lose in the playoffs. Won 7-ish games. Dak Prescott gets injured. There's so much that, like, it's mind-boggling. Anyway, I've got really not much more else to say on this matter. In a little bit of NBA news, Jimmy Butler got suspended again. He just wants out. God bless. Somebody trade for him. I think I think he really wants to go play for the Suns. I think the trade for him to go to the Suns would involve four-team trade. Like, there's a lot of moving parts to it. So I think that's probably like what they're trying to do right now, because he doesn't want to play in Miami anymore. He's one of my favorite players, by the way. It's like, He's a hilarious guy, but he's got suspended again. They just got him off suspension. He's back on suspension. Just trade him. Find somewhere to trade him. He wants to go to the Suns. He wants to go to a championship ready team. Just if you're Pat Riley, just work a deal. I know it's easier said than done, but just work this deal. Find somebody. Talk to everybody in the league. He wants to go to the Suns. Figure out a way for him to go to the Suns. So it's like if you got to go trade to Memphis, trade so and so to Memphis, get Bradley Beal and a pick. And I'm not a GM by any stretch, but I think you can work it out for sure. He doesn't want to play there anymore. He is very much done with Miami, and you can tell it from his body language, by the way he plays. He's done. And it's okay. Greener pastures. Go find a new one. Go find a new home. That's fantastic. If you don't want to play Heat basketball anymore, that's fine. The Heat aren't doing very good right now. It would probably benefit them to go trade him to Phoenix for picks. Or the Warriors for picks and things. And the picks and a player. And then, you know what, you can kind of, get a better end of the deal. I don't know. But I think to any team that he goes to that is kind of like a fringe contender, good team, like Dallas. I talked about Dallas when he first got suspended and first demanded a trade. He's doubling down on his trade demands right now. And I talked about Dallas. Phoenix would be a good one. The Warriors, the Lakers, guys teams that need a guy. I think the Lakers, if the Lakers are good, the NBA does good. When a good big market does great, and when a dynasty helps sports, and I think and a good team, they just he has perimeter defense, he can score. He's a good player. He fits. He's like a puzzle piece that Dallas really needs, and that Phoenix could also really needs is that good perimeter defender, can also score, but also he's he's a good basketball player, and I want to see him on on a West Coast team to challenge that the beast of the Celtics and the Cavs, and that'd be awesome. But yeah, really, that's really all I have for today. Probably come back tomorrow. I'm trying to come back tomorrow with a conference championship prediction, well analyzed. We'll come revisit. We're just gonna do a whole conference championship episode tomorrow. YouTube's. I think it's gonna work. I think this episode will be aired on Spotify, on YouTube. And always go follow the Instagram, so like and subscribe if you like this content, if you like listening to me talk for an hour. That's great. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making me part of your day. I know it's Friday now, so good morning, good night, peace, have a good one.